Recruitment of over 7,000 youths to the National Youth Service to resume after being halted by the coronavirus pandemic. Trump finally signals a White House exit as huge challenges loom for Biden. Well, be sure to reach us via 111 and tell us your opinion about our stories this evening. The unveiling of the Constitution Amendment Bill and the launch of signature collection exercise has elicited mixed reactions. Leaders are not content on the contents of the document. They are accusing the government of being hard-headed on their push to perfect the document for the better of Kenya's governance and Kenyans at large. Harry Chimea delves with more.
Signature collection to back proposed amendments in the Constitution continues, which indicates that there may be no more room for amending the Building Bridges Initiative document. Some of the leaders feel that the document needs some changes before it is endorsed.
Ile inaendelea saa hii wakati huu ni kutafutia watu wachache viti ya vyeo ya kisiasa katika katiba, kwa sababu katiba ya leo ilikataa viti zaidi ya kiti moja ya president na ya deputy president.
Speaking during clergy ordination event at St. Peter's Cathedral SCK Kenol in Murang'a County, Kandara MP Alice Muthoni Wahome said that adding political seats in Senate and National Assembly will only be a burden to an already burdened Kenyans, adding that the BBI is looking to give some individual position.
Na kuongeza viti sabini kikao cha bunge na viti ingine 47 huko Senate. Mimi ukiniuliza, hiyo mzigo wa Kenya hawakuwa tayari, na bado kutakuwa na wale ministers hii ikipita ambaye hawatakuwa wajumbe, bado watakuwa wanakaa kikao cha bunge.
The legislature also said it's not the right time for constitutional change, bearing in mind the country is facing a big problem of dealing with COVID-19, which has affected the economy in a great way, adding that the government should focus on ensuring there is a good plan before school resumes in January. Harriet Chimea, Switch TV.
Narok County Governor Samuel Ole TUNAI seems to have taken a U-turn over the contentious BBI report. After several months of silence, TUNAI has finally declared his support for the Building Bridges Initiative report, saying that he will do all he could to popularize the document among the mass-speaking counties. Emmanuel Terer now reports.
TUNAI, a close ally of the Deputy President William Ruto, has proposed for the Building Bridges Initiative draft to be translated into Maasai dialect to assist the community in making proper decisions while voting for the report.
Watu waambiwe ndio watu watoe uamuzi kwa kitu ambaye wanajua inasema nini. Anamenija. Hiyo ndio la muhimu.
Governor TUNAI, who was among the governors who attended the BBI signature collection launch at KICC on Wednesday, skipped by the Deputy President William Ruto, said him and his Kajiado counterpart Joseph Ole Lenku will translate the document into my language.
So tusome, ndio sisi wote tunataka tuendelee kusungumuza kama county, ndio sisi wote tujue vile tutaendelea.
At the same time, the governor urged the contractors to ensure that they complete the construction of the Ntulele water supply project within the 6-month period, maintaining that the 45 million shillings water supply will greatly benefit school as well as the communities living around Narok East.
Hapa iwekwe maji kwa hii shule, kwa wanafunzi, kwa walimu, kwa hii jamii yote. Si namna hiyo? Na mimi nitarudi kuhakikisha hiyo kitu imefanywa.
He was speaking at Olai Muitiai Primary School in Narok East after a groundbreaking of Pinyeny Ntulele water supply project. Emmanuel Terer, Switch TV.
Meanwhile, Chief Justice David Maraga is set to retire in style after delivering his last public address on the state of the Judiciary and Administration of Justice Report 2019-2020 today. Maraga has asked Kenyans to reject any proposed constitutional amendments through the Building Bridges initiative that may threaten the independence of the judiciary. Lilian Maina has the details.
The judiciary has been hailed as one of the most transformed public sector institutions owing to the enhanced integrity, good infrastructure, technology and staff welfare. Speaking today, the CJ addressed the alleged antagonistic relationship between him and the president, terming it as just a difference of opinion and not anything personal.
To our president, wherever you are, it is clear there is a difference of opinion between me and you. But I want to assure you and the entire nation that I have nothing personal against you.
CJ Maraga has further asked Kenyans to reject any proposed constitutional amendments through the BBI that may threaten the independence of the judiciary.
I thank the entire justice sector for the cooperation and support that you have accorded me over the last 4 years of my leadership. Through the National Council on Administration of Justice, we have made important gains and achievements in ensuring coherence and coordination of the justice services in the country.
The CJ has once again questioned the president's delay in the appointment of judges, which continues to cause a huge strain on the already overstretched judiciary. Lilian Maina, Switch TV, Nairobi.
Elsewhere, Devolution Cabinet Secretary Eugene Wamalwa today took the Building Bridges Initiative gospel to Siaya County, where he challenged the locals to sign up the document, saying it will help improve services in the grassroots. Take a look.
Unajua wameweka sahihi ile BBI? Yes. Sasa tunataka mkipanda miti pia muweke sahihi hiyo BBI. Sawa sawa? Yes. Ili pesa zaidi zije hapa Siaya. From 15% to 35%. We want more resources coming to our counties ili tuweze kutengeneza mambo ya maendeleo katika kila county ya Kenya.
Marginalized leaders led by Kuria West Member of Parliament Mathias Robi have accused the BBI Secretariat of failure to include their views presented to them earlier this year. The leaders are now threatening that the report will be rejected if it does not consider the interests and the views of their people and other marginalized communities.
Nataka kusema kuwa sisi hatujafurahi kwa sababu matakwa yetu hayachukuliwa maanani. Na kila siku ninarudia kwamba Rais aliahidi Wakuria, akasema nafasi ikipatikana ya kurekebisha katiba, kura yake itakuwa ya kwanza kusupport Wakuria ili wapate kaunti yao, kwa sababu ameona na inajulikana vile tuko katika kaunti ya Migori, na sisi kama wale wachache tuko pale hatufaidi na hii devolution ambao inatakikana kufaidi wa Kenya. Kwa hivyo mimi pia nataka niambie rais kuwa ni vizuri wakati anasikiliza Wakenya wote, isiwe kuwa yeye anaambiwa na watu wengine hivi. Kwa mfano, kama hii kaunti yetu ya Kuria ni kitu wazi na tumeililia siku mingi, kwa sababu tunaona kama tunateseka bila hiyo kaunti.
Hatujaona katika hii BPI imeangalia maslahi ya Wasabot kwa njia gani, kwa sababu tulikuwa tunatarajia kwamba hii PPI itaangalia namna ya kuleta kwa mfano kaunti ya Mount Elgon katika kaunti ya Trans Nzoia, ama kutengeneza kaunti nyingine ya kuweza kuangalia marginalized communities, hasa jamii kama Sabot, jamii kama Kuria na jamii zingine ambazo siko marginalized. So hapo ndio challenge yenye nimeangalia.
Now, the BBI report has been termed as the best and reasonable proposal to address the two-third gender rule. The Chief Justice David Maraga advised the President to dissolve Parliament for failing to enact legislation required to implement it. Homa Bay Member of Parliament Peter Kaluma has said the report gives alternative ways to address the matter.
Also additional provisions requiring political parties when submitting their candidates following nominations to ensure the two-third gender rule, is met by their list. Their lists are compliant with the two-third gender requirement. And IEBC has also been obligated by provisions also proposed in the BBI amendment, which most people are not looking at, not to accept any party list which does not comply with two-third gender rule. So our hope is that as the constituencies move to 360, parties being properly obligated by law and through the sanction required to be imposed on IEBC not to accept any list, will secure that most of these things will be satisfied through the 360 seats. In the event that is not achieved, and because the two-third gender rules is a human rights, principle under Article 27, then there will be gender top-up in the manner proposed in the County Assembly.
Elsewhere, Kiambu Governor James Nyoro and his deputy Joyce Ngogi today at the county headquarters launched the collection of signatures towards the BBI report. They say that they are working hard to get at least 1 million signatures from the Kiambu people, of which they will use ward representatives to collect the signatures from the villages. Through educating the Council of Elders, they believe that they will hit their maximum target so that they educate villagers before a clear decision is made.
Okay, it was called Kiereweke or whatever it was. The purpose was to be able to unite the country. And, whatever effort that we were doing, we wanted to back the president for the effort that he went out to reach out the former prime minister and make sure that there is peace and tranquility in this country. So I'm very, very proud. In fact, I have to say that I am a product of BBI. And that will remain historical, and that is why we, and particularly my government and my people and all the people of Kiambu, will have to work extra hard to ensure that with this BBI passes with very limited friction, and that at the end of it all, our people will be united.
Away from that, the Ministry of Public Service and Gender has today announced the recruitment of over 7,000 youths to the National Youth Service. And as Daniel Karuki reports, the recruitment of the youths had been halted by the coronavirus pandemic in the nation.
The Cabinet Secretary of Public Finance and Gender, Margaret Kobia, has announced the ministry will resume the process of recruiting youths at the National Youth Service, claiming it's among the efforts by the ministry to try and enhance service delivery in the nation. The process was halted as tertiary learning institutions were closed by the government in a process to help curb the spread of COVID-19.
Since COVID-19 pandemic, National Youth Service are reporting the lowest number of cases. And when I reflect around that, I realize it's because National Youth Service is a very disciplined force.
CS Kobia was speaking at the National Youth Service, where she was hosted by the Director General of the NYS, Matilda Sakwa, as she launched the nationwide tree planting campaign by all government ministries.
I know National Youth Service was given almost 10,000 trees, and I'm glad that we have a certain level now.
It's directive on greening Kenya and achieving 10% forest cover by 2022.
The process aims to increase Kenya's forest cover, which is currently at 7%, to a minimum of 10%. Daniel Karuki for Switch TV, Nairobi.
Well, via Facebook page, that is Switch TV Kenya, where we're streaming live. Princess Terry is saying locked from Kisumu. Emma James also saying good evening. Joel Chacha 001 Mombasa is following breaking today news. We are together. And also MC Tycoon saying watching, and Aston Opeyua have tuned in from CI. Be sure to text us on 111 Of course, I'll be sampling some of your feedback right here before ending the bulletin. And 13 minutes now past 7 p.m. we are taking a short commercial break. We'll be back with more stories. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Breaking Today. My name is Joel Church and our sign language interpreter is Teresia Washira. Moving on, Kenyans are still waiting for the full report of the investigations of the allegedly lost COVID-19 funds. Samuel Namukana reports.
Even as the COVID-19 numbers surge daily, Kenyans are still waiting for the full report from the government on where the COVID-19 allegedly stolen funds meant to help in the fight against this deadly virus went.
Self-employment, wakati ambapo corona ilikuja paka saa hii hakuna income yenye tunapata, hakuna kazi yoyote yenye tunafanya. Tunahangaika, tumekuwa wale walimu wa kuombaomba mjini.
Hakuna usaidizi. Wanasema tangu waseme ugonjwa walipeana pesa misaada kuingia pa Kenya. Ukiangalia kama kwetu Rambi, hakuna chochote imefanya nini? Imekujia line yetu ya Rambi.
As they wait for the findings of the report, most of them believe that this will end with no one being convicted nor arrested. Religious leaders have also come out to put the government to task so as to increase the public confidence to the Kenyan government.
Kuna pesa ulitumana watu wakakawia watu. Watu wameandika kwa mabibi yao, wengine wameandika kwa familia zao, hizo pesa zimekaona. Kama sisi viongozi wa kanisa, hiyo pesa tujaona ya kusaidia wa Kenya ambao walipoteza kazi.
However, the Cabinet Secretary for Public Service and Gender, Margaret Kobia, during a tree planting session at the National Youth Service, has said that the government has initiated a plan to supply free masks to Kenyans. It is now clear that Kenyans want to know where the allegedly lost COVID-19 funds went to. Samuel Namkana, Switch TV, Nairobi.
Kisii County Deputy Governor Joash Mangi has called for immediate audit of COVID-19 funds in the devolved unit, alluding there was embezzlement of funds. Speaking Kisii Town, Mangi said that the residents have the right to know how the money was used to mitigate the impact of COVID-19. Robert Ouma with the details. We'll be getting that story in a few. And DHOW cruise executions are slowly taking shape in the coastal town of Mombasa, Watamu and Lamu, with investors offering great products to attract tourists. The DHOW that have been converted into floating restaurants are traditional Arab sailing boats that were initially used for transporting passengers and cargo among the coastal residing communities of the Bajuni and Omani Arabs. Take a look.
At the Hemingway's door, there are 3 cruises that include the barbecue or lunch cruise that starts early in the morning, where the guests are cruised around the Mida Creek and they get a glimpse of the creek, mangroves and the birds before culminating at a lunch excursion at Sudi Island.
It's quite an excursion that people should always not be left out. When they come to Mombasa, they should be the first people to come on board the Tamarind Dam, and also to promote local tourism.
Wakenya tunawaambia waje waburudike, manake ukiwa hapa ni kama umetoa fikira zote mbaya kwako, unatuliza akili.
At the Tamarind Door in Mombasa, the theme is no different. The management says that guests at their mainland hotel prefer meals in the doors as opposed to the traditional packed dining halls.
Tunashukuru kutoka tuanze kazi hii, hakuna tatizo lolote tunapata hapa, na ikiwa kuna shida fulani ndogo tuna msaada hapa kama life ring, kuna hizi life jacket, hizo ndio tunaweka kama kuna tatizo lolote linatusaidia hizo.
The DHOW cruises along the Mombasa Old Port all the way to the Makupa Creek via under the spectacular Nyali Bridge offers 2 cruises in a day, and it includes an hour lunch cruise and a 4-hour diner cruise. According to management, their customers are largely Kenyans who come for diner and corporate events, weddings and parties. Nyakundi Kelvin, Switch TV.
Away from that, businesses in GITHURAI 44 were today razed down to ashes. The residents say that in just a span of 1 hour, hardwares located within the fire proximity were already turned into ashes. Residents came out in large numbers to salvage property as others offered a hand to turn out the fire. The county government fire team helped putting out the fire, and residents say that the cause of the fire has not yet been established. The fire had caused rather a big snarl up along the highway.
tukasikia watu wakishout moto moto. After that minute, moto ilikuwa imespread kila mahali. Mimi nilikuwa nauza hardware, imechoma ball, kila kitu. Hakuna kitu imeokolewa.
Asubuhi hivi moto ilianza, tulisikia watu wakisema moto moto. Kitu kama 30 minutes moto ilikuwa imesambaa kila mahali. Imechoma kila kitu, imechoma vitanda, viti, biashara zimeharibika. Hakuna kitu imebaki huku.
Well, let's now focus on the United States politics. US President Donald Trump said for the first time that he will leave the White House if Joe Biden is officially confirmed as the winner of the US election, even as he races against massive fraud. Trump has made an unprecedented attempt to defy the result of the election by refusing to concede and claiming stolen ballots and launching baseless legal challenges that have been thrown out by courts. Take a look.
Just so you, certainly I will. Certainly I will. And you know that. But I think that there will be a lot of things happening between now and the 20th of January. A lot of things. Massive fraud has been found. We're like a third world country. We're using computer equipment that can be hacked.
And now in the world of business, the GALANA KULALU Food Security Project has once again been put into spotlight after residents of Garsen Sub-County petitioned Parliament to investigate irregular activities taking place at the site. The residents, through their MP Aliwario Guyo, said the government land surveyors had invaded the 1.7 million acre farm that spreads across Tana River and Kilifi counties with an aim of subdividing it. Our reporter Kennedy Kimani with more.
Garsen Member of Parliament Aliwario Guyo has tabled the petition regarding the GALANA KULALU Food Security Project on the floor of the House and soliciting reactions from colleagues.
No, the history of giving out government land to individuals in this country has never favored the people it should favor. It is given to people who will be absentee landlords, who will keep it for speculative purposes, will not even grow anything.
GALANA KULALU was supposed to be a national food basket. But what we have now, it has moved from the original objective to now people want to subdivide the land.
Aliwario Guyo claims that the Ministry of Lands and Physical Planning had embarked on planning and surveying of the area for resettlement of host communities and subdividing the land for commercial leasing for crops and livestock enterprises without involving a public participation.
The priority be accorded to the locals who have been directly affected by the project. Public participation is undertaken as per the Constitution and provisions of the Agricultural Development Special Farms rules, and the ongoing survey works be stopped immediately.
The residents now want the National Assembly through the Departmental Committee on Lands to inquire into the circumstances under which the proposed 250,000 acres community run scheme as per an existing survey map was amended downwards to 200,000 acres. Kennedy Kimani, Switch TV.
Many thanks for staying with us. My name is Cedric Oronji, and now let's head straight to the fields, where it's a sign of relief for sportsmen in the country as the Ministry of Sports, Culture and Heritage, in collaboration with the Ministry of Health, has issued a go-ahead for sports resumption. Through a statement, the ministry has highlighted some guideline protocols to be adhered. However, contact sports like rugby, taekwondo, judo, karate and wrestling to remain closed, except for national teams preparing for international events.